Yo, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to go over the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market cap. I'm going to do some TA on Bitcoin and just kind of give my thoughts on where we're at in the market. So as you can see over the weekend, if you were paying attention at all, we had a bit of a dip and we are back at 335 billion. Our BTC dominance, this is something I really wanted to get into today on this video, was we have seen the BTC dominance kind of decrease over the past few months, and now we're sitting back at 43.6. I think we got all the way up to 45%. And if you look down on the coin market cap, pretty much everything is in the green over the past 24 hours. Some of them in the green quite a bit more. And if you're using Profit Trailer, this is what I like to use. You change this to the Bitcoin value, and you can kind of see your profit percentages that you would maybe get if you were using Profit Trailer, PT Feeder, and whatnot. So if you look down here, Quantum is at 47.97% compared to Bitcoin. So that's really good over the past 24 hours. So if you got any trades in Profit Trailer, pretty sure it would have been trailing that guy at some point. So anyway, what I wanted to get into was this. So the Bitcoin dominance, and this is something I'm looking at quite a bit right now. If we go back, Bitcoin dominance in the beginning of last year, 2017, Bitcoin dominance was at 85%. And that's pretty crazy if you think about it. And then all of a sudden it kind of just dive bombs, right? And then you see it gets down to 38% or so, and then it starts to rise back up. And as it does that, the altcoins tend to lose value. And as you can see here again, when Bitcoin kind of tumbles in value, the altcoins gain value in perspective of market cap dominance, right? It's just normal numbers, percentages based on how much market cap we have in the crypto space. So this is something that I'm looking at pretty seriously right now, because we have taken a pretty big dip to about 32% in Bitcoin dominance, and now we're seeing a pretty healthy rise. And I think that Bitcoin is going to continue to rise in dominance for the next, I don't know, a couple months, maybe. And so that's something that we need to realize if we're using Profit Trailer, PT Feeder, and you have a bunch of altcoin bags, because I think it's possible that the altcoins continue to bleed a little bit more. And that's due to this market cycle that we have. That doesn't mean that I think altcoins are dead. I don't think crypto is dead by any means, but I do think that it's possible we see another rise up to maybe 60% or 50% in Bitcoin dominance. And that would mean that a lot of money would shift from altcoins into Bitcoin again. And the reason I say that has to do with my technical analysis that I've been looking at. So you've probably seen these two wedges in other people's videos. This is pretty common. A lot of people have been looking at this. Generally with these descending wedges here, it's pretty bullish. So when you get towards the apex of the wedge, it launches up, generally speaking. So this is a pretty bullish signal. I'm not going to get too technical in here, but we bounced past, we got to this apex and we bounced up above this line here, this trend line. So to me, that's a good sign. But what I'm really looking at, and we'll go into a little bit more micro here on the 3 hour, I'm looking at a few things here. So if we jump right into the technical analysis and we put on our Elliott wave hat, we've talked a lot about this Elliott wave here, where this was the end of the 5 wave. So we had our, let's see, we had our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this was our primary count here. That was before, that was previous. And that would mean that we had our correction. So if we put this in, where's my ABC? We would have our A, our B, and our C wave. So that to me looks like a very valid count. With this sort of situation on your C wave, you're going to have a 5 wave coming in on your C. So we'd have our 1, our 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let's adjust this one. Okay, so you can see that now. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 wave. And so what this signals to me is that we had a healthy Elliott wave come up here, our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave ending up in this region. And then we had our ABC correction all the way down to here over the weekend, about $7,366, somewhere in that range. And now this is my outlook, because there was a couple ways that this could go, right? If we continued down here, then we were surely in more of a bull or a bearish market, and we were going to test the double bottom theory or maybe even make a new low. And that would have been extremely bearish for me. But after seeing what has played out here, I'm pretty confident that we're in a pretty good spot as far as I can see. If you have other ideas, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. But my count right now is going to be, we're sitting on our 1 wave here, then our 2 wave down here, and we're just starting our 3 wave, and then we'll have a 4 and a 5, which will be way up top. And let me put this into, we'll just do the top one so we can see that nice and big. So if we look something like that. Now I know it's getting kind of cluttered, so let me switch this color here. We'll do this to green. So you can see that's green. So that would be our 1. Our 2 wave is a pretty extended 2 wave. As you can see, we've dropped pretty deep. And what we can do is we can bring our Fibonacci retracement tool in here, and we can kind of see how far we drop down. And the 0.786 line is really the furthest down that I would like to see a 2 wave go. And I think a lot of other technical analysis guys would really agree with that. The 0.618 is what you're really looking for, and we broke through that pretty easily in this region. And I know it's kind of small, so if you're on a computer, you'll be able to see this easier, but let's move this over a little bit. So yeah, we definitely tested this 0.786 line, and that was a really good confirmation for me that it's possible it's over. Now, we don't really know for sure. We could maybe see another leg down, but my primary outlook right now is pretty bullish, looking at especially this candle that we've seen here, very impulsive. We're looking at a 3 wave, which tends to be pretty impulsive in the grand scheme of things. So I'm really happy with what we've seen here. So this is good news. And then let's get rid of this fib retracement. If we look at the price, let me see, where am I? There we are. So if we look at this wedge and look how far, let me go back to the 1 day, and we look how far we bounced from the wedge to the top. And we'll just use the candles, for example. It's about 62% of where we popped, right? So from the bottom of this candle, this was a bull wick here, and we'll see, we saw a pretty healthy increase in price, 62.9%. Now, if this wedge is true, we might see something very similar. And so we'll use the bottom of this candle, and if we went up to 62%, this would be something we're looking for up in this region. And I would put this 3 wave there, and the 4 wave, this would be a pretty small 3 and 4 wave, to be honest. I would guess it would go a bit higher to get some of this other resistance up in this region. But if these are similar waves, it is possible we see something in this region, 62% or something like that, maybe even 70% of a rebound from our lows, from our recent lows. And that would bring us to a pretty healthy 3 wave. and that would be sitting at about 14,000. That's kind of where I'm thinking the 3-wave will end. And then we'll have a correction down maybe towards the top of this 1 wave. Maybe not so far. Maybe more like 11,000 or so, which is the top of this 1 wave was about 11,300. So hopefully we can see this 4-wave touch about 12,000, kind of rebound back up, and the 5-wave leads us into, better territory, testing these all-time highs. I'm looking for kind of what we've seen in the past, where the 5 waves were our most impulsive waves and the 3 waves weren't as long. These 5 waves in the past, from what I've seen, and I'm no professional at this. I'm no professional at Elliott wave theory. I enjoy messing around with TradingView and kind of counting it out on my own, and I recommend you guys do the same. But I have, in my own research and stuff, I've noticed that the 5 waves seem to be the longest waves, and that's fine in Elliott wave theory. They seem the most impulsive and most vertical, and this was my 5 wave in here when I counted this run up. And so I'm kind of looking for that again in the future. So if this 3 wave is kind of small and the 4 wave correction is kind of small, then I'm kind of looking for a healthy 5 impulsive wave here. And when that does happen, in maybe June or July or wherever it is, I will expect another correction. So I don't know exactly if we will be testing these all-time highs, maybe 20,000 or maybe going past it. It's so difficult to say on that large of a time frame, but I am looking in more of a micro scale and looking at this and saying, okay, so we didn't break beneath the 0.786 line on our fib retracement, which is really healthy. That's a really good sign that we didn't break beneath this. This acted as very strong support. And we have valid Elliott counts, which is really good for me. I like to see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. I like this ABC down. I really like this 1 and 2. This 2 is a really prolonged, extended 2 wave, getting close to touching the 0, right, where we start. And it's still valid. This is still a valid wave. But it's extended. And so I'm really looking to see what happens in this region. Are we going to have an impulsive jump up to our 3? And at this point, it's been impulsive in this region. Now we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. So that's my count, my primary count. I think we're on the cusp of a 3 wave. Always do your own research before doing this. I'm not recommending you to buy Bitcoin or anything right now, but to me, I'm positive on what we're seeing right now. So I'm happy with this. I'm happy that we saw this large green candle. We had some increase in volume, which was good to see. And we're seeing the Bitcoin dominance really take over again. And that is also good to see because Bitcoin drives the ship. Like, Bitcoin is the granddaddy of them all. And when Bitcoin rises, altcoins tend to bleed sometimes. And when we get into this this big bull market again, which I don't think we're necessarily getting into a big bull market, we could see this 3 wave and this 5 wave be not so extended. This could be smaller, quite a bit smaller. And this 3 could just touch up here. This 4 could just touch right above the 1. And the 5 could go right about here. And then we can start a new Elliott cycle and we can look at where we're at then. But I'm excited. So I'm not super bearish. I do have bearish outlooks, but I just wanted to bring this to light because I thought this was a pretty solid Elliott wave count. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you're interested in getting more information like this, or maybe about Profit Trailer, PT Feeder, let me know in the comments if you need any help with that stuff, with the settings, and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to constantly be uploading new videos like this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.